Hi, welcome to the video tutorial section of the Chef Doak website. This portion of the website is designed to show you how to prepare your food healthier. We'll incorporate both waterless and greaseless cooking, and that's going to improve the health of your family. So let's get started. We're going to start off with a 7-vegetable medley cooked in the smallest pan in the set of Healthy Life premium waterless cookware. We're going to cook them completely without water. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off with some fresh carrots. Now, I'm going to use our salad machine, and I've got a separate tutorial on the salad machine. Be sure and check it out because it does wonderful different things. There's 5 different cones. They do some wonderful things. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off with this carrot. I'm going to hold the carrot up on top, and I'm just going to cut some carrots up very quickly like this. And then I'm going to place these carrots in the pan. Now, by the way, when I'm using this salad machine, I want to take the flap when I get down to about 1 inch like this and just kind of pull that flap over. That's going to keep my fingers out of the sharp blades. Now, I'm going to place these carrots in our pan. Now, does anybody out there know the name of the nutrient that's found in carrots that helps prevent cancer? Yeah, that's right, it's beta-carotene. Beta-carotene is the first known cure for cancer, and it's right here in your vegetable gardens. Now, I'm going to take a little bit of broccoli. Now, how many of you ladies out there are eating lots of broccoli? You gals eat lots of broccoli? Because broccoli, ladies, is one of God's perfect foods. Broccoli actually has a natural enzyme in it that helps prevent breast cancer. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and cut the top off, and I'll place this broccoli into the pan. Well, what do we normally do with the stem after we cut the top off? Because most of us throw it away, don't we? I take the stem and I run it through the small grating attachment on the salad machine. And it makes great broccoli soup, garnish for salads. And if you folks ever had broccoli coleslaw, it's about $7 a pound. This makes wonderful broccoli coleslaw when used with your salad machine, so don't waste the stem. Now we're going to add some corn on the cob. Kids love corn on the cob cooked without water. What happens is when you cook corn without water, the sugar in the corn caramelizes. It makes it super sweet. So it's like cotton candy for the kids. I'm going to place this in our pan like this. Now, I'm just going to set the salad machine aside. I'm going to add some zucchini. Now, does everyone out there like zucchini? You guys like zucchini? I love zucchini. But you know, and we all experience it. Some of us have children or grandchildren or somebody at home that doesn't like green vegetables. Am I right? Okay. You know when you boil vegetables at home how the flavors tend to run together? What happens is when we cook these vegetables without water, the flavors don't run together. So if someone at home doesn't like green vegetables, they're still going to eat everything else in the pan because nothing will taste green except for the green stuff. So I'm going to cut the zucchini up like this. We'll go ahead and put this in the pan. We're going to add some colorful vegetables. Now, folks, there's 2 colors that stimulate your appetite. Anybody out there got an idea of what 2 colors stimulate your appetite? Yeah, you're right, red and yellow. But here's something to think about. What colors every fast food sign in America? McDonald's, Burger King, Pizza Hut, In-N-Out Burger, their signs are all red and yellow. That's not by accident. They know through years of research that these 2 colors make us very hungry. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take some yellow squash, and I'm going to cut the yellow squash up like this, and we'll put this in our pan. But are you guys aware that yellow squash has 3 times more vitamin C than an orange? It's interesting, huh? It's not a little more vitamin C, it's actually a lot more. Now I'm going to take this yellow squash, I'm going to cut it up like this, and I'll place this in the pan. Folks, you got to admit, we are putting an awful lot of food in that little pan, aren't we? But when you don't fill the pan half full of water, see, we're cooking without water. When you don't fill that pan half full of water and take up all the volume in the pan, you can actually cook a lot of stuff in that pan. Now I'm going to take some red bell peppers. By the way, would you happen to know the difference between a red bell pepper and a green bell pepper? And don't say flavor, color, or price. Do you know the difference? There's actually no difference. The red ones are just riper. These have been on the vine for about 3 weeks longer. They start out green, and as they ripen, they turn red. Now, I'm going to take this red bell pepper and I'll cut it like this, and we'll put this in the pan. Now, does anybody out there get indigestion from green bell peppers the way that I do? Because I do. I get bad indigestion. Would you happen to know why? As vegetables start to ripen, they start developing enzymes that help you with digestion. The green bell peppers aren't ripe. They haven't developed the enzymes. That's why a bunch of folks like me get indigestion from green ones, but not the red ones. Now I'm going to take the little paring knife. I'm going to cut the little spine out of that bell pepper. Now the reason I do that is that little spine has a bitter flavor. You cut the spines out, these bell peppers will be much sweeter. I'm going to take the bell pepper. Now cut up like this, we'll put it in the pan. Now folks, I love my job. If I do my job right, we're going to leave you with a little information about nutrition, and I promise this will influence you guys forever. Now watch this, don't miss this. I'm going to pour some water on the vegetables like this. Now my mama taught me how to cook, and my mama didn't know about wireless cookware. So the first thing that mama does is she drowns her vegetables, she'll put water all over them just like this. Then she walks over to the stove, she's going to put them on the burner, and she's going to turn the burner to what temperature? Yeah, high, right? She'll boil them to death. Then after about 15 minutes, mama sneaks up on them with that nice sharp paring knife, stabs them a bunch of times, make sure they're good and dead. Then if they have any color or flavor or texture left, mom cooks them for 15 minutes. My mom taught you guys how to cook too, huh? Now, I love my job, and if I do my job right, we're going to leave you with information about nutrition. And I promise this is going to influence you guys forever. Now, don't miss this, folks. Look up here. I want you to notice the color of the water just from rinsing off those vegetables. Now, it almost looks like orange juice, doesn't it? So what is it? Yeah, it's vitamins and it's minerals and it's beta carotenes. It's good stuff. What do we normally do with that? Down the drain? Well, that's just rinsing. What do you think happens if we boil or we steam or we microwave? See, boiling is 212 degrees. At 212 degrees, we'll destroy 65% of the vitamins. Have you folks ever heard the term nuking the food? The microwave? Are you aware that microwaving will destroy as much as 95% of the vitamins? Now, here's what happens in your microwave. After about 30 seconds in the microwave, the cells inside these vegetables begin to rupture. Once those cells are ruptured, you've destroyed all the nutrition. So please, don't cook vegetables in the microwave. Now, if you had the old set of wireless cookware, and this stuff's been around for 90 years, you would know that when this pan right here reaches a perfect 180 degrees, then we'll see a little vapor coming out of the lid. Now the reason I say 180 is perfect. At 180 degrees, we preserve 95% of the vitamins. Now, do you guys agree with me though? That is the opposite of microwaving, isn't it? Now, folks, there's a lid in the top, a vapor valve in the top of the lid here. Now, the vapor valve has an open and a closed position. When we're cooking vegetables, we're actually going to close that vapor valve. And then we're going to walk over here. I'm going to set this on the burner. And I'm going to set my burner to a very low temperature. We're going to cook at about 200 degrees. Now, in 4 minutes, we're going to see a nice steady stream of vapor coming out of the lid. Once we see a steady stream of vapor coming out of the lid, we're going to close the valve, and we're actually going to let that set off of the burner for about 10 minutes. What happens is, it has a cast iron core inside. That's like your cast iron skillet at home, sealed inside the pan. And what that's going to do is that's going to actually maintain an internal temperature of over 150 degrees for 45 minutes off of the burner. Okay? So let's go ahead and wait for this to get a little vapor coming out of it, and then we'll be back in just a second. We've now been cooking for 4 minutes, and we have a nice steady stream of vapor coming out of the lid. You can also hear a slight whistle coming from the lid as well. That tells us we have the perfect cooking temperature. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to close the valve. Now remember, we're cooking without water. We've been cooking with the valve open. Once we see the vapor, we'll close the valve and I'll spin the lid. Now, notice the lid's spinning like a top. Okay? That creates a water barrier between the pan and the lid, which is very important. Because as the pan now starts to cool off, it's going to suck the lid down tightly against the pan. This will now create a little mini pressure cooker. Now, I'm just going to set this pan right here on the back of that cold pan. Now these vegetables are not done yet. We've only cooked these for about 4 minutes at a very low temperature. Normal cooking time at home is 12 to 15 minutes. Okay? But we're cooking like this because we have cookware that has a cast iron core, like your cast iron skillet at home still inside. That disperses the heat so well that we can actually cook without water. This is going to retain an internal temperature of as much as 150 degrees for over 45 minutes. So these are going to set now off of the burner. Now the interesting thing is, we've all had this happen to us before. We're cooking out on the grill or we're cooking some meat and we're trying to time the meat to come off at the same time as our vegetables. Sometimes it's very difficult. So the vegetables usually come off earlier. Well, the nice thing about this is it doesn't matter if this sets off of the burner for 5 or 6 minutes or 20 to 25 minutes. Your vegetable is going to be perfect and your timing with your meat will be perfect as well. Okay, so we're going to let these set for about, say, 10 minutes. Then I'm going to show you what we've done. Now, folks, our vegetables, let's recap really quick. We cooked them on the burner at around 200 degrees. Okay, we cooked them for 4 minutes. We waited till the vapor started coming out of the valve. We left the valve open. We saw a little vapor coming out of the valve. Now the vapor's coming from the natural moisture that's already in the vegetables. You remember how we poured all the water off of the vegetables. Okay, so we're just letting the natural moisture in the vegetables do the cooking for us. Once we saw the vapor came out, we close the vapor valve and we spin the lid. That creates the water barrier between the pan and the lid. Okay, now as the pan cools off, it sucks the pan down like a little mini pressure cooker. That keeps the flavors and nutrients right in that food where they belong. And that pan just keeps on cooking. Now, what we're going to do is I'm going to release the valve, let the pressure off, and I'm going to pick up the lid. All right, now, folks, beautiful vegetables, cooked without water, and it only took me about 4 minutes on the burner. They've been setting off of the burner for about 10 minutes. You can let them set anywhere from 5 or 6 minutes up to 25 or 30 minutes. It's not going to really matter. Some of us have demanding spouses at home. We always demand supper on the table. Well, if that ever happens, you say, okay, George, supper's on the table. Grab yourself a fork, sit down and eat, and it's served on a silver platter. Fit for kings. Now, folks, I want to show you something though. Okay. Now, by the way, us men, we always clean up after ladies in the kitchen, right, ladies? I'm here a little snickering out there. But I'm going to take and put a little bit of water in this pan. Us men, I got to tell you, are doing a lot of cooking and cleaning in the kitchen these days. What us men are discovering is there is nothing that cooks or cleans like a T304 titanium surgical stainless steel tool. That's a wonderful, healthy kitchen tool. And that's guaranteed forever and stays looking new forever, just like our snap-on tools. And this will impress you. I would like you to notice that we now have this beautiful meal. Perfectly healthy. Now, folks, isn't that about as interesting? Notice the texture of the vegetables here. In fact, I even want to kind of cut up that broccoli. Look how tender that broccoli is. And the beautiful thing of it is we haven't boiled all the flavors and nutrients. I want you to not only notice the color here, okay, but I also want you to notice how tender they are. If you cook vegetables this tender at home, you're going to boil the flavors and nutrients and the colors out of it. The colors aren't fading here. And does it make sense that if the colors are not fading, that very possibly the flavors and nutrients aren't fading? Folks, a healthy 7 vegetable medley cooked on the burner in 4 minutes in your own home. Now, this is something I want you to keep in mind. Normal cooking time at home when you boil is 12 to 15 minutes. Okay? What? And you only imagine the amount of energy you're going to save. We're cooking at low temperatures for very short periods of time. We save an incredible amount of energy. We use Healthy Life Cookware. What we own is the very finest quality cookware that our money can buy. Now, please check out all the rest of the videos on the Chef Doak website. And thank you very much for watching, and have a healthy life, and God bless.